Hello and welcome back to Drams for Dummies. I am the numero uno dummy, Brett, and I am so excited to be drinking and tasting and testing and grading and scoring and reviewing this bottle with you guys. 15 stars, fine aged bourbon. It's their private stock. If you've been following anything, I don't know what their distribution is like at this point, but we're in Kansas City. Hence the best football team apparel. And sorry to the rest of the country. Sorry, not sorry, but sorry. But in Kansas City, it's been getting up here in the last year or so. So I don't know how far spread this is, but it's a father and son distilling team out of Bardstown, and they're currently bottling everything. They're blending and sourcing and bottling in Bardstown, but they're also distilling their own proprietary mash bill. They're using heirloom corns, but they are doing the right thing, distilling, barreling, and waiting for it to mature until it's ready to be released. In the meantime, partnering with probably in some way, shape, or form Bardstown and getting out these great bottles that have been getting nothing but love and nothing but great press. This particular one has, if you look it up, this is the 7 and 15, which stands for the fact that they are blending 7 and 15-year barrels to make this private stock blend. This 715 has won countless awards, countless 90-plus scores on the awards groups and the sites, and I've even seen it in the 2024 bottle wrap up best of 2024 list. I've seen this pop up a couple of times on people's lists. So I was excited that I fired the channel back up and that I happened to have this bottle. So like this needs my dummy review for sure, right? So again, Kentucky bourbons in there, straight bourbons. The mash bill is undisclosed, but what I found, and so take it with a grain of salt on the interwebs, is that it's a 72% corn, 20% rye, and 8% malted barley combined mash bill. I know that I saw one of the things that they're distilling on their own right now is going to actually be a wheater. So, but we're going to assume that this is just a very standard traditional rye bourbon. As far as that goes, it comes in at 107 proof, and the MSRP on this bottle is $140. That is enough exposition. Let's figure out what this dummy thinks about this bottle. All right, first go, nose time. Bright and fruity. Got a little cinnamon in there. It's got kind of a burn, but it's more of like an oaky, proofy burn, I feel like, than it is like we know it's not a youth burn with 7 to 15 year barrels. Smells rich. It smells really nice. It's got some heat in the nose, but I think it's what you're looking for, an oaky, proofy, aged nose. But it is brighter, and it is up there in kind of more of that cinnamon, red hots kind of world. So bright, punchy nose. I'm going to take a quick sip. That'll inform the nose a little bit better. So let me take a little sip and put them all together for a nose score. All right, so nose informs palate, palate informs nose. So not going to give much thought to that palate. Just drinking it to kind of get the nose aligned. So we'll swirl it around a little bit more, roll it around a little bit more, and let's see what we got now. Yeah, so the drink, and that happens a lot. That first nose comes in bright and punchy, and then the drink sort of ties all of the olfactory and the taste buds together, and then all of a sudden the nose has kind of a little bit more richness, a little bit more well-rounded quality to it. So, again, it is a little brighter, a little more ethanol, a little punchier. I like a really rich, deep, the toffees and the molasses and the deep oaks and the coffees and the chocolates. This one's sitting brighter and a little bit more, again, a little effervescent almost, a little bit like that cinnamon up there. For me, I'm going to give this a 7 nose. It's good. It's a good nose. It's not great. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely, I mean, it's definitely well put together. It's well above average. So for me, it kind of goes to that 6 to 7 range, but I don't do halves anymore. And so I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. And this is kind of where a blind would come in, right? If I had, my wife pour this for me and I didn't know this is what it was, this is where not knowing the label, not knowing how much you paid for it, I highly suggest doing blind tastes like this. To have one thing in a glass, not know what it is, you give really honest opinions. Is it your jam? Is it not your jam? What do you think about it? You're not thinking about the $140 you paid for it or that your friend Brian paid for it. Yeah, I'm going to let us keep it 7, but if I was going to go anywhere, it would go a little below that. It would go to like that 6.5. I'll let it keep it 7. So let's go ahead and see what it's doing on the palate. Okay. Yeah. It was nice. It's what's surprising is for a 7 and 15-year stock, it kind of has a watery quality to it. It kind of has it's refreshing. You kind of expect a 107 proof 7 and 15-year blend to be a little bit more coating, a little bit more fill the mouth, a little bit richer in the mouth. This feels it's in there. It's got good flavors, but it feels like it kind of dissipates a little quickly. It feels like it sort of is just, like I said, water just sort of rolls kind of over the tongue and out, and it's just kind of gone. As opposed to that coating the mouth we all, I think, like. Let me take another drink, though, and see if maybe just need one more sip to really let it figure itself out. Yeah, yeah, it's good. I'm not going to get into the finish yet. The flavors are nice. The flavors are really well developed and balanced in there. But it does. It feels lighter. It feels watery, more watery than I think it should or that I would prefer. It's good. It's good. It's good flavors. It's just the experience of it. It's not as rich as I think it should be or could be for 7 and 15 years, for $140, for 107 proof. So, and again, everyone's palate is different. So it's not to disparage the distillers, the blenders of this. They be going for a different feel and a different, experience than what I just love. And all I can do is grade it for myself. So I'm going to give it a 6 in the palate, which is pretty good, which it is, because it is good flavors, but the experience kind of keeps it down. But it's definitely above average. So as far as that goes, let me go get the finish real quick, and I'll wrap this thing up for you guys. So the finish. So the first couple of drinks, the finish was not doing much for me. But then this is how it all ties together. So I took a little sniff before I did that drink. I got strong clove. Strong clove came out of the nose, which then, of course, that was in my brain. And then it came back in the finish. And the finish wasn't astringent like it was the first couple of times. The finish really kind of ran for a while and had really nice flavors, and that clove came back out again. So let me see if I can get it to do that twice. That's a good finish. But let me see, that was kind of, so far it's kind of the anomaly for me and with this drink is that finish was that flavorful and that strong and that good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This is the second bottle in a very short time of me being back on the channel where I'm not a big finish guy, but the finish is sort of saving the pour. Where the nose was pretty good and then the palate drops down and then that finish comes back. The finish, while not still that rich, oily, viscous, that's still not really there, but something about how it lingers, it sticks, it stays. It has the more flavor depth comes out in the finish than it does in the palate. That's a really good finish. I got to go 8. Really good finish. And on this one, since I don't do halves anymore, this is going to make my score pretty easy. So for this bottle, our 15 Stars Fine Aged Bourbon, private stock, 7 and 15 year blend of Kentucky straight whiskeys, bourbons from Bardstown, Kentucky. I'd give it a nose of 7 is a good nose. Good nose. I give it a 6 on the palate, which is a pretty good palate, pretty good in the mouth. It's not, it fell short of where I want it to be, but that finish came back and saved it for an 8. Really good finish. Again, no halves to keep it simple. That is a average of a 7 bottle. So that is a good bottle. So then you have to say, well, okay, if it's a $50 bottle and you're getting that experience, you know, this is where value comes in for people, right? So then it's like, what's going to make me spend $140 on that versus spending, you know, $35 on Old Granddad 114 or you know, $60 on a, you know, $50 on a Russell's or, you know, whatever your thing is at 30s and 40s and 50s that you can get the proof you like, you can get the age you like. You got a Russell's Reserve, you know, 10 year, you know, you're right in the middle of that. You're kind of right there for $50. And are you going to get the same experience or close for, you know, $90 less? So, but for me, it's a 7. It's a good bottle. At $140, that is something I would not ever buy with my own cash or buy again. So that's my thoughts on 15 Stars. Thank you so much for being here. Love you guys. Love what you're doing. As long as what you're doing is you're being good to everyone around you, and part of being good to all those around you is liking and subscribing to the channels you're watching, like this one. And if you're liking and subscribing, then I love you. Thank you guys so much. See you next time.